Welcome to today's Power Hour from Connections to Community, Building Relationships that Drive Business Growth. I am Becca Blake, and I'm the Vice President here at the Blue Springs Chamber, and we are so happy that you're here with us today. Just a couple quick reminders. So we do have a Power Hour session scheduled every month for 2026. They're always going to be at noon on the first Tuesday of the month, and they'll be via Zoom. So we'd love for you to join us every month. Be sure and register for them, even if you're not sure you can attend, because we do post the replay as well. So that makes a great resource for you to check back on later. And then the way you access those videos is in the Resource Center. You just log into your member profile on Chamber Master, and you can get into them there. Before we get started, please go ahead and put your name and your business name in the chat if you would, so that we know who's here with us today. And then we're also going to monitor the chat for questions. So if you have any questions throughout Laylan's presentation, just drop them in there. We'll hold a Q&A at the end. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Laylan. Laylan Pennel is the owner of Impulse Optimism. She's a brand consultant and creative business strategist who helps small businesses turn big, wild ideas into clear, authentic brands that actually feel like them. She partners with local business owners to refine their visual identity, messaging, marketing, and customer experience, often weaving in events, training, and community building. So clients don't just look good online, they become places that people love to talk about and return to. So Laylan, we're excited to have you here today. And are you ready to take it away?
I am. Thank you. I hope my dog will be calm during this. We'll see.
Right.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. All right. Okay, so thank you, Becca. My name is Laylan, and I have been a small business owner for about a year. And so one of the things that I'm really good at is making friends. And I know sometimes it's hard to make friends as adults. So I think we can talk about that in like the business setting and talk about how to make connections into your own little hive of community. So that's a little bit what we're going to talk about today. I used to have a whole bunch of different things on here, and then I just changed it. I simplified it to community organizer and people connector. Those are the two things that I'm really proud of. I love giving back to the community and organizing events and different fun things like that. And I also love to get to know people and to just kind of connect them and see kind of where they can be helped and kind of just go from there. So we're going to talk about the real currency of business. So, revenue is following the relationships. Okay. You have to build that relationship first. And I know that that sounds very easy. Like, right, we have to have a relationship, but it's really so much more than that, because relationships take a long time. I pitched a client in May 2023 or 22. And she said, I really like this, but I can't, I don't have the budget for it. And I said, okay. So we left on good terms. I saw her a year later and she said, I still really want to work with you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Just waiting for that to happen. So then 2 years later, she called me and she's like, I'm ready to bring you on. So if it wasn't for those seeds of planting and nurturing those relationships over the couple of years, then I wouldn't have been able to get that contract. So it's definitely something that you have to invest in when you are a business, the relationships and things like that. So people will buy faster. If they have confidence in you, people will buy faster. They will refer more. And we're going to talk about reviews and referrals in just a second. And they're going to stay longer. But remember that you are playing the long game. And we're going to talk about networking and how that's not really the quickest and best way to get there. But remember, just keep that in mind as we look through this, that you're playing the long game. So when I first started my business, I signed up for every single networking event there was. I went and I had my cards and I was, fresh faced and I was so excited to go to all these networking events and tell people what I did and, how I could help and things like that. So I was collecting lots and lots of cards. I was chasing uh, following people that maybe didn't fit my demographic, but at the same time, I was like, well, these are the leads that I have. So I am going to reach out to them and see what we can do. A lot of times that wasn't a fit. And so it was a little bit of a wasted time trying to follow people that we just didn't click right away. And also selling too soon. One of the things that I did was I reached out and I helped with this. I started with a sales pitch when really they just wanted to get to know me. They wanted to know me as a person. And I think I turned them off really quickly by trying to explain what it is that I do, because at the end of the day, it's your personal brand and that shouldn't be taken lightly. You shouldn't refer people that you don't trust with your name and things like that. And selling too soon, that trust and relationship hasn't been built yet. So something I really like to talk about is the intent to help is better than the intent to sell. If you're sharing something helpful with no sales pitches, like for instance, if you're speaking to a company that you have an idea for, you can give them a little taste of that idea without saying, "Okay, well now I'll give you, these are my prices, and if you want any more, you have to go after this. This is the sales pitch." Be the person who solves problems, not just swaps cards. I think we've all been in networking events before where it gets really awkward and you're just swapping cards and you're not actually helping them with anything that they are dealing with. And solving problems for them is really going to build that connection and trust so much quicker because they know that they can rely on you to be able to say like, hey, this is a resource for me, and that's going to stick in their mind a lot longer than just someone that they met who swapped cards with them and they didn't really get a sense of who you are. Networking, and this is not just networking events, but networking in general shines when you're giving, not grabbing. And I have a story about that. So you may know him. His name is Cody. He's with Cotarian, and he's a member of the chamber. And I talked to him about doing outreach and how to nurture those relationships and things like that. And he said that the best thing that he does, he says, I drink a lot of coffee. He said and I see him at the bean counter all the time. So he does really focus on that like intent to help instead of the intent to sell. And I originally thought going big meant cold calling and pitching strangers. And it really just isn't that at all. Was that for me? I got a beep. But I have found that just one $7 latte and one genuine coffee chat with the right person can get me 1 to 3 real leads. And so if you think about it, if you think about time versus money, would you rather spend 2 hours at a networking event where you walk away with very little follow up to be able to really make some good leads? Or would you rather get in and spend an hour or two talking to someone who can really understand you and understand what it is that you're looking for and who you want to help? So I will tell you that by far the coffee chats have been the absolute best for me. They're cheaper than ads and they're tastier than burnout. And I also want to talk about ads. We'll talk about ads in a second, but I suggest as a small business that you don't run ads right away, and we'll talk about that. So I have a couple of statistics for you. The science and soul of being trusted. So 62% of consumers are going to trust brands that say they're going to do do what they say they're going to do, and especially those that are involved in their local community. I think a lot of people don't think getting involved in their local community is such a big deal, but it really is so much more for the community involvement. It's so much more important than you think. 94%, and that's huge, stay loyal to companies they have confidence in, even if it means paying more. So they are going to stick around, which is going to be so much more valuable to you than having to find a new client and start from scratch. So you really want to nurture those companies that are sticking around, and we'll talk about that in a second. I keep saying that. Confidence still beats the algorithm. When you start to build confidence in your business and confidence in to your customers about yourself as the mouthpiece of that business, 52% of small businesses say referrals are their top lead source. And I know in Blue Springs that is so real, because referrals, especially in towns like Blue Springs, they really are the just number one way to get new people. Referral leads convert 3 to 5 times better than paid ads. Paid ads are, I think, in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they're great unless you are reaching worldwide. If you are looking for something local, then I find paid ads to be useless. If you're looking worldwide, you're looking for people all over, then that is going to be the paid ads are probably going to help you out a little bit more. But they can get really, really expensive, and they're not, like I said, they're not nearly as convert as much as referral leads. And referred clients are 37% more loyal and 25% more valuable. They're going to give you more business. They're going to refer more people to you because they're going to pay forward that favor of being referred to you. And they are so much more valuable because they're going to spend more business with you. So let's talk about reviews and testimonials for a second. I am big on reviews and testimonials. I actually used to work for a staffing company, and one of the things that we had was that we had a lot of people who would come in, we would get them jobs, and they would love their jobs, but then they weren't leaving us any reviews. So people would be interested in hearing about their about what other people had to say. And so they're going to do that they're going to do that research. And so 90% of customers say that reviews influence their decisions. Okay, 90%. And that is, I think, like 93 to 98% say that they look at the reviews, they read the reviews, they study the reviews before, but 90% say that they influence their decisions. Okay. And this is over half consumers say the reviews are the most influential factors. They outweigh friends, family, and other brand marketing. So that just means that they are, that it's just at the end of the day, reviews are the number one. I want to say unbiased. Sometimes we see them that are a little biased, but for the most part, hearing from someone that you don't know at all and say, I had a good experience with them, then that actually goes further. And I know that sounds kind of crazy that you would take that over a friend or family, but it really is very powerful. Reviews and testimonials, they nurture long-term loyalty, and also if they're online, they live there for a long time. If someone writes you a review in 2024 on Google, it is still there to this day. So it's evergreen. It's anything that you are going to put on there. If it's on Facebook, if it's on the website, anywhere that's on there, they are going to nurture the long-term loyalty, and they reduce the risk for new buyers. So one of the things that I found was really interesting is that 85% of new buyers report that they hesitate if there are no reviews. So I don't know if you shop on Amazon, but whenever I go to shop on Amazon, I look at the reviews and I look at the pictures. I want to see what it looks like in person because I don't know if you've ever ordered something from Amazon and it is either way too small or way too big. So I like to look at those and I like to see real people and those reviews influencing their decisions on there. So if you go to buy something on Amazon and there are no reviews at all, there's a good chance that people are going to be like, oh, I don't know if I can trust this business yet because they aren't established. I don't have confidence in them, things like that. So, really, reviews and testimonials are such an underutilized way of getting that out there. And again, it outweighs friends, family, and also all of your brand marketing, which I know you're working really hard on, but it can help add to it. So this is how to ask for more reviews. Again, the reviews are so important. And I don't think I finished that story, but when I worked at that staffing agency, we had an incentive program to get people to write reviews about, honest reviews about how they felt about their new job. And we went from 50 reviews to 250 reviews in the first year or two because we were asking them outright after they had gotten their job, asking right after the high point where they are so on cloud nine about thanking you for their job, thanking you for the win that you gave them as a small business or gave them in general. And next, I would say make it friction free. I really don't like that sometimes businesses will send you a message and they'll say, hey, are you satisfied with your service? And then you say yes. And then it goes to like 6 other questions. I don't have the time or the attention span for that. So for me, if I'm going to leave a review, it needs to be something like one link, one tap, or one share the love button. So you can do that with a whole variety of different things. If you don't already have a system that you can put in emails and phone numbers into for texting, then that's definitely something that you want to invest in because it's really something that's going to help you. And the last thing I had on here was add a dash of delight, a small gift, discount, or donation in their name. We do not want to incentivize, we do not want to push for dishonest reviews, obviously. But if this is something that you can offer as a token of gratitude, then that's definitely something that if you have the means to do, then you absolutely should do it. And that will help you get more reviews. So, just to wrap up a little bit, our takeaways are that business relationships are all about building confidence. They're building confidence in you as a person, they're building confidence in your business, they're building confidence in what you can do, that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And they are absolutely about just knowing that you are there to take care of their issue, give them solutions, and to make to make their lives a little bit easier. I think a lot of times people are hesitant to reach out to businesses, especially if they're having an issue. They don't want to have to tell several people their story if they're embarrassed or things like that. They really want to be able to get to someone who is compassionate and wants to help them right away. And putting them at ease is all about building confidence for them. The right partnerships open doors you could never unlock alone. This goes back to the referrals. This goes back to the coffee chats. You are going to be making those right partnerships every time you sit down with someone and enjoy just some uninterrupted time. And you don't have to do this in person. You can do this on Zoom. I have several meetings a week on Zoom. I much prefer going and seeing someone in person. But if you don't have time for that, then, get a referral from a chamber member or a friend and see if you can touch base and kind of brainstorm with them and see how their business can help you and how you can help your business, they can help your business. So I think that knowing and being able to partner with the right people is going to take your business so much further than you would be able to on your own. And the last thing I have to say is that word travels fast, especially in Blue Springs. Make sure that it's saying something worth repeating. So you want to make sure that your reputation is taken care of. That goes everywhere from every interaction that you're having with people. You want someone who meets them tomorrow and says, "Oh my gosh, Laylan, she was awesome, full of energy, and she had so much to share, and I can't wait to work with her again." Also, the online reviews, Facebook reviews, things like that. Make sure it's saying something worth repeating, because that is going to get you more customers for longer periods of time. And they're going to be much more valuable, and they're going to continue to refer, and it's going to be just the best way for you to build those relationships in your business. Okay, so I know that was quick, but I wanted to do it in 20 minutes. So here we are. Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody have any questions or any feedback that you want to give on those types of things?
I actually had a quick question. First, I took two phrases from this that really kind of hit me, that I'm like, those are really good. One is that networking shines when you're giving, not grabbing. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. That was awesome. And it's so true. And then the other was that coffee is cheaper than ads and tastier than burnout. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, burnout does
Yes,
not taste good. Um, so I thought
absolutely.
that was funny. But what are your thoughts on referral rewards? So I know that testimonials and referrals obviously are two very powerful things for your business, but I've heard more and more businesses offering rewards to people when they refer someone.
Mhm.
And I feel like I personally have mixed feelings about that. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are.
Sure. So, like I said, I don't think you should incentivize by saying you're going to get a $10 gift card for leaving us a review, because that's going to bias them and make them absolutely try to just please you and things like that. Um, do it very like not threatening, but just do it very much like, we would really appreciate your feedback, and if that goes into, we will like I said, make a donation in your name, or we will refer you out, or we'll highlight your review, or we will send you a handwritten thank you note, or any of those things. That really goes so much further than just a thank you, because it just gives you so much more of a personal touch to be able to be like, this is, we really appreciate you so much that we're going to give this to you. Now, a lot of times, businesses try to automate this and say, um, like they set up an email sequence, and so once you've responded, it will send it and say thanks, and that's the last time you hear from them. And that can be really difficult, because it's like, it's not something that you can really follow up on, and it's quantifiable, and things like that. So instead, I really suggest doing it personally, whether you have someone in the office who could just give them a quick shout and just say, "Hey, we appreciate it. Is there anything else we can do for you?" And asking that anything else we can do for you can really open up, so many more questions. Like, I had a financial advisor, and we invested with them, and then one time they called us and said, "Is there anything else that you need to do?" And they started giving me options of some other things that I might want to invest in. And I was like, "Oh, that is a great opportunity and idea." And I think definitely with like Carmen, you can give that time to say, like, what else can we help you with? Like, you don't just have one financial need, you have more financial needs than that. And as they trust her, and as they trust people at the bank, then they're going to say, Absolutely. We trust you. We have confidence in you. You've given us great customer service in the past. I want to do more business with you. So I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see sometimes where businesses will say, refer 5 people and you'll get a free whatever. And I feel like those types of testimonials and referrals and things like that kind of backfire in my opinion, just because I feel like the testimonial that might come from that would not necessarily be genuine. It's just someone trying to get the reward.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
so yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Does anyone else have any questions?
I have a question. Uh, okay. So, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am fairly new at being, I mean, I've been working in insurance for a few years, but I'm getting out there and I'm meeting new people every day. What is your advice if I do meet somebody, and I'm connecting with them and I know that they would be a great referral partner and we're hitting it off, we're having the coffee. What are some key points or any advice that you can give me to make that into another coffee date? Or because sometimes it's not just one, like you have
Yeah.
to, like you said, you have to plant the seed and it takes time, and I understand that. But do you have any advice for people like me that want to continue that connection and make it more meaningful the first time?
Yeah, so you can definitely, you're right. It sometimes takes a couple of coffees, or like my story earlier, it took me, 2.5 years. But every time I saw her, I offered another piece of helpful advice to her. So when you're doing the intent to help instead of the intent to sell, you are giving them, like, did you know about this that's going on, or that you could qualify for this kind of insurance? Different things like that, you could just add on to the value for them. And so you want to be top of mind for them whenever they are looking for, your business. So that's what I would do. I would also make sure that you have a consistent conversation with them, whether that's over LinkedIn, whether it's just a text like, hey, how you doing? Like, just wanted to check in. The more individual uh, details that you can bring into that relationship, it's going to make people trust you and have more confidence in you. So I would just keep those lines of communication open. If you haven't heard from them for a while, be like, hey, do you want to get ready? Do you want to get another coffee? I'd love to chat with you, and always end it with an invite. So instead of it's like, oh, we'll get coffee together soon. Instead, it's like, what are you doing for, what are you doing for next week? Let's do a coffee. So I would do that on your own schedule, but every couple of, depending on if they're like a cold lead or a warm lead or a hot lead, I would try to follow up with them like that, and kind of just go from there.